What do you guys think about this video series? Today, we're going to talk about the pain and the pitfalls of falling in love with a Gemini and why falling in love with a Gemini can actually really hurt. So there's a lot of twists and turns with Gemini. So I hope you guys are learning a lot about all the zodiac signs, and don't just watch your own sign and don't just watch your lover's sign, but really try to learn about the different archetypes. And we're talking about the shadow side. So this is not the virtuous video. This isn't all the good, yummy, delicious things about Gemini. No, this series is about the pain, the suffering, and the agony. So indulge me, okay? Have fun. You're allowed to hate me. But just remember, we don't really do sun sign astrology on this channel. We do deeper astrology, and we can see more than 40,000 things inside your gorgeous natal chart. But today we're just having fun. You can take me on a walk with you. You can listen to me like an audiobook. You don't even need to look at your chart. But if you have your sun, your moon, your rising, your big three in Gemini, or if you have a lot of planets, a lot of personal planets in the third house, this can really take on this Gemini flavor. And I also want to tell you that even if you have a child with strong Gemini placements, you're going to want to understand their shadow side. This is going to help you not just in sexual love relationships, but in relationships with the Gemini people in your life. So I'm going to give you the 10 pitfalls, the 10 most painful reasons why it's really tough being involved with the Gemini. You know, falling in love with a Gemini is like going down the Alice in Wonderland rabbit hole. It's like stepping into a kaleidoscope, dazzling colors and unpredictability that and your world will be constantly shifting. So this is kind of the opposite of the video that I did in with Taurus. And they're sparkling and they're witty and they're magnetic and they have this giant presence that can make the world seem brighter and more thrilling and just ecstatic. But soon you might realize that loving a Gemini is a journey filled with these exhilarating high highs and these perplexing and debilitating low lows, where every single day brings a new face of the same person. So you never quite know what this is. The Cracker Jacks box. Yeah. You remember Cracker Jacks? Do they still make Cracker Jacks? Will anybody tell me that's like a 1950s candy and we had it in the 70s? But you would get a prize in every box, and sometimes you'd get a ring, and sometimes you'd get a little scratch pad, and sometimes you would get a little horn, deet, deet, and it was just so fun. So this is like a Cracker Jacks box. Please tell me, somebody, if they still make Cracker Jacks and if you're eating it. That's what Gemini is like. But soon you're going to realize that is very difficult to live with, because you might not even know who you're involved with, and you've been with them for 2 decades. So here are the 10 biggest reasons why giving your heart to a Gemini can really leave you with the ache of love. First is their restless spirit. Geminis are ruled by Mercury. So Mercury is the most important planet in their chart, one of them. And it's the planet of communication and even movement, right? It's a planet of change. It is the messenger. It is your perception, the way that you think, the way that you talk, and their minds are always in perpetual motion. And guess what? So are their hearts and usually their bodies. And so this restlessness can mean that they are rarely satisfied with whatever they have right in front of them. They want something different and they want something new. You could deliver them their idyllic dream. Oh, I want it to look like this. And I deliver it on a silver platter. Here you go. And actually, it's even better than what you dreamed up for your own self, because I designed it for you. So I made it even better. I made it 10% bigger. Yeah, I did that, but kind of bored with it now. I did that dream for a couple hours, couple months, a year, whatever. It's like, just as you start to settle in and get comfortable in the rhythm of your relationship, they crave something new. They want something more novel, more adventurous, more dramatic, more passionate. And this can leave you feeling anxious and perpetually on edge and wondering if you'll ever be enough to anchor their wandering soul. They are the leaf that has blown off the tree and is blowing, twirling down the street, just wee, right? And you're like the tree trunk going, what is going on? Why did you leave me? Did I deserve to be left? Did I deserve to be left? Okay, let's keep going. So the next, I would say, number two is their duality. They have dual intentions and they have a dual nature. And you know how they get accused of being the gossip or talking out both sides of their mouth or the forked tongue. No, they actually really want to make the purchase and want to save the money at the same exact time. They actually want to be involved with this person, like this is my best friend and this is my best friend. Well, this is my best friend when I need emotional connection. This is my best friend when I need a party person to go out with. So yeah, they're both my best friend, where both of these people are operating in the best means the number one, the best. Like, how can there be two best, right? So that duality is the twins. And it's two sides, two-sided, two moods, two voices, two opinions. They can see like, oh, I can whatever. It can be a political duality. It's maddening, basically. It's really maddening. And it is how they can charm both sides of the equation. So they can charm the enemy and the enemy's enemy. And so they're very, very artful this way. And I also feel like there's this charming, attentive side, only to then in the duality be absolutely gobsmacked and blindsided by the aloof, cool, detached, mischievous other part of them who just appears out of the blue. So this constant shifting can be like completely has you on a top, has you spinning. So your love now becomes sort of unpredictable or predictable in their duality. Like yes means no, no means yes. Yes, I want up and yes, I want down. And it's hard to predict which version of them, which part of them is going to come forward. And the pain comes from loving, gosh darn it, both sides of them, even when one side of them makes you doubt the other side. So you truly are living with twins. Yeah. But you don't know who's going to play inside this interaction with you. And that leads me to the next one. Have you ever heard of the term called the artful dodger? Yeah, like dodgeball, where I can dodge and pivot and twist and gaslight you. So when you confront a Gemini with conflict, and you will find that you literally cannot make your point and your point is spinning in circles and you guys are going in circles and you literally go nowhere. And you just analyze the whole entire thing from every which way but loose, only to spin the conflict, the problem, the challenge into circles. Well, yeah, but I said this. No, you didn't. You said that. Well, yeah, I did. And no, you didn't. Yeah, you did. Yeah, no, yes. Okay. Well, that was this. And that was 2/3. That wasn't 1/4. And that was, oh my God, they spin you so off your top that you're now floating in outer space and you don't even remember what the gosh darn conversation was about. They talk in circles. So they get you into their gerbil wheel and they have you start spinning with them. And you're just like, okay, and what was the point? Like, so who's the bad guy? Who's the good guy? Oh, there is no bad guy and there is no good guy. You will find both in both, and one in the other, and the other in the one, and so on. Didn't I didn't mean to lead you on to believe that there was a right or a wrong or good or a bad. Absolutely. There's no good and bad. It's all gray matter. Oh my God. So they're masters of gray matter. I made that up. They're the masters of evasion, and they can turn a simple conversation into your meditation labyrinth up at the temple. And and they deflect, they cajole, they joke, they scoot away, they do anything to just change the subject entirely, leaving all that you came to the table with on the table. Huh. What? We talked about that for hours last night. You need to talk about that more? What, like, and the ache is in there was no conclusion. There was no like beginning, middle, and end. There was no thesis and conclusion. No, you talked to yourself with me involved in it for hours. Yeah, we got nowhere. And I had a goal, like step by step by step. 1+1 is 2 process, right? They just want to do 1+1 and 1+1. I know I sound, I know I sound mean, right? But I don't mean to be mean. I'm just really talking about the very highly dysfunctional, you know, Gemini that has, really painful parts to it, because the ache lies in feeling unheard and in inside arguments that are just like left hanging. There's never a conclusion. There's never really a super goal that we're dedicated to. And so all the problems again are like swept under the rug. And the only thing that happens is the rug has to get bigger and bigger and bigger. You have to go out and get a bigger rug because you're sweeping it all away. So, okay. And that leads me to their fickleness. They are so fickle, and, they thrive on solving problems. They thrive on acquiring data, and they're actually very good critical thinkers, especially at work. And they're good at solving puzzles and problems. And so they thrive on intellectual stimulation and emotional stimulation. They like feeling things, and really social stimulation. Social and intellectual stimulation is so critical. And then they really do like emotional stimulation because they like stimulation. This is Mercury. They want the thoughts to fire like, pop rocks, like pop, 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 pop. Yeah. So they fall in love with concepts and ideas, and they fall in love with adventures and learning new things. They are addicted to learning. And so sometimes with people, with these people, they will change like lightning. They will change so fast. And they are like the lightning bug. Aren't the lightning bugs precious? Oh my gosh, I love their lights in the farm fields. They're so beautiful. Anyways, they're like like the bee or the lightning bug or the monkey. Dee, 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 right? Um, they need so much stimulation that, even let's say I present them with 2 options. Well, they will be so emotionally, intellectually, and maybe even socially stimulated to figure out the answers to option 1 that they don't even put it into action because they exhausted themselves in the simulation of it. And then they do that with option 2. They're already on option 2 by the time you circle back around with them, and you're like, wow, what did you choose? Oh yeah, I ran through 1, and I'm on option 2, and I don't know if it's going to stick. I'm thinking about what else I can do. What the hell? Didn't even know you took a first step in option 1. So what I'm saying is that this is because they're highly intellectual. This is the Jack Russell Terrier. Like, give me a job or I will find a job in this house, like to eat your couch. I will find a job. And so they need that kind of stimulation. And so that's where their fickleness comes from. They change their mind because they've already worked all those options, where like Taurus has to go out into the real world and smell the air and touch the tool and, negotiate and barter and broker it before they can make a decision. Gemini just did it all in its head. And I'm going to tell you, and this is the really hurtful part, because other signs do not know this. When they were in the option of you, whatever that was, come to work for you, come to live with you, come live near you, date you, be with you, right? They were genuine in that. They were literally, and I have to remind myself of this because I have Geminis in my life, but their affections were genuine when they were choosing you, your thing, your option, your idea. They were actually genuine. Now, you thought that the whole time until just boom, maybe even the next day, they aren't doing They aren't doing you anymore. And they shifted away from the idea you just talked about, right? The idea of you. And they shifted, they changed their mind about you. And now you feel played. You actually now doubt that they were ever genuine, because if they were genuine, how could they switch their opinion about you so quickly? Well, the truth is they were genuine in choosing you, and they were genuine in not choosing you. And that's the hard truth. But one does not cancel out the other for Gemini. It does if you're listening to this as a Capricorn or a Taurus and you're taking score. No, one cancels out the other. And I'll even get or Leo. I'll get comments. You guys tell me, does one cancel out the other? No, it doesn't have to. I genuinely did try on the idea of being with you. I genuinely thought I could. When I woke up this morning, I realized I live 3 hours away. I have 2 kids and I have to take extra shifts at work. Well, why Gemini? Then the person says, I was being the Gemini in that, well, why didn't you tell me about that when you were all into me? Well, I didn't want it to be true. I don't know. I was sweeping that part under the rug. Yeah. And so they fall in love with big ideas, options, and opportunities. And it leaves people doubting not only you, not only their ability to, God, where's my BS radar? Like, God, am I that gullible? I really felt like he meant it or she meant it. And she did, but you just can't imagine that. Well, what I'm trying to say is that everybody who's not a Gemini, or if you have, let me just tell you this, if you just have a lot of planets in the 3rd house, you're probably guilty of some of this, of doing this. And you probably think like that. Like one does not cancel out the other. I wasn't trying to get anything from you. I really was in the idea of you, but then I got real with myself. And so experiences and options and opportunities expire on Gemini faster than any other sign in the entire zodiac. And you're left in the wake, or in your wake, at your wake, either at your wake or in the wake, either one, both works. You're left there just going, holy hell. Not only do I hate that person, I kind of half hate myself. And it actually makes me even cynical, skeptical of all of mankind. And I don't even know if I can date anymore. And it makes you actually doubt life and the world, being involved with a Gemini that's that fickle. It can literally make you doubt the entire existence of mankind. That might sound dramatic, but it's actually really true. Geminis, if you're listening, that's how people feel when you change your mind abruptly. Slow it down. Maybe wean off. Oh my gosh, I could talk about this for so long, but this really makes a person it just makes you, and with this unevolved Gemini, it's just maddening. It can feel really twisted. And the person is left feeling like they have to compete with your new hobbies, with your new intellectual pursuits, with your new book, with the thesis that you're writing, with the PhD that you're getting, with your new degree, with your new friends that are more interesting, with your new, more interesting hobbies, with your next passion that you pour your attention into. And they never, ever feel like their place in your heart is ever secure, because you're just going to change it tomorrow. And so it's scary. So do you have planets in the 3rd house, sun, moon, Mercury, Venus, or Mars, or Jupiter? I even put Jupiter in there because Jupiter is where you're exaggerated, or north node or south node, really the south node. If you're the north node, you probably don't do this in an unhealthy way. You're going to do your north node in a very healthy way. And if you want to know about the nodes, I have a whole playlist on the nodes. You can find almost anything on my channel. Like I really want to do, and I'd love your opinions, you guys, especially Geminis, because you're listening to me. I think I want to do a series on the solar return. Are you guys interested in that? Let me know. Put that in the comments for me if you're interested. Okay. I would say the next hardest thing with being involved, being madly in love with a Gemini. First of all, you are a very brave soul. How many people here are in love with Geminis? I want to know. I wish I could. Can I attach a poll to this? If I can, I'm going to. Um, yeah, wow. I mean, you have to really be willing to live with the magician, basically. Yeah. It's the social being cast in the social butterfly's shadow. And so a Gemini's social circle is it's diverse, it's big, it is it can be weird and eclectic, like it can be electronic dance music and also the country music concert. Like it can be that, like opposite. And they just think it's so cool. And you're like, how can you like both of these genres, like goth and, uh, classical or something like that? And so their social calendar is literally packed to the brim. They will have to schedule you in, and they might not even have that much time for you. And they're very popular people. If you have a prominent planet in Gemini, you are going to be well liked and popular. And so your lover has to compete with that. Hopefully they're popular too. I mean, a Leo or a Sag, an Aries, those fire signs can hold their own. I really like Aquarius for this because they're like popular and eccentric and they don't even know it. And Libra probably struggles the most because they need more of a relationship. Like they need more time together. And Gemini really has a lot of autonomy. And so their popularity is just intoxicating, but it can also make you feel overlooked and just like on the bench and waiting for them and their popularity. Yeah, I know. They're so cute, aren't they? Yeah. Oh, I know. Just adorable, aren't they? Yeah. 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 Of course. Yeah. I'm nothing. Right. So jealousy and insecurity, they attract really jealous, highly jealous partners. Why? Because they are so detached, and they usually also attract very insecure partners because when the partner has to watch you, move from group to group to group to group to group, and you're always the center of attention, you're always the joke master, the wit master, the funny master, the comedic master, just always moving. You're just always two steps ahead, and they feel really left behind. And they don't want to be left behind. But they don't know how to do that Gemini thing that you do unless they've got Gemini planets in their chart. I'll tell you, Geminis, like Sagittarius is, are giant flirts. And here's the thing about Gemini, they don't even mean it. They're in the moment enjoying your blouse or your top or your eye color is fabulous. That's literally all they mean. They're not on the hunt like Aries. Aries says that to you. They're on the hunt. If Gemini says that, they literally factually mean your eye color is fascinating or that blouse really does look good on you. And they're going to move on to the next person. You're going to hear the same conversation on the next person on the dance floor. Oh my God, your hair color is so cool. I love what is the color of your hair? I love it. And oh my God, that color on you looks so, you're going to hear the same thing. And so it feels that flirtation is just charm. It's how they connect. They usually connect in complementary ways, but they can play devil's advocate and they can um, connect. It just depends kind of where their Mercury is. If they have a deep Mercury, they could connect really soulfully. That's more complicated than you came here for. So let's talk about sex. Emotional detachment. Yep, these guys make great like surgeons because they're capable of a great deal of warmth, but they keep their deepest feelings like under a rock. And they prefer to engage with people through their intellectualism rather than their emotionalism. And when you seek intimacy, you may be met with jokes or wit or banter or like let's have another drink and a good conversation is the seduction tool. And by the way, you should go watch my video on how to make a Gemini fall madly in love with you. I got a lot of great comments on that video, so I know my Geminis really appreciated it. And it's like 10 ways you can seduce your Gemini and get them to calm the F down, get their butt in a hammock and just swing under the, under the sunbeams. But what happens is that the Gemini is emotionally detached, so they don't know automatically how to create that deep intimacy. And so the pain comes from feeling like you will never be let into the inside world of the Gemini, that you always have to live on the outside of their inner world, forever knocking on the door that only opens partially. Like, what did you need something? Can I help you with something? Will you let me in? What do you mean let you in? I've let you in. I've let you in the whole way. Like there's nowhere else to go. Really? There's nowhere else to go? That can't be everything, because I see you, pontificating about life in your own mind. Where are you when you're pontificating? I want to go there with you. What's in there? Oh, those are just thoughts. Not even right. And so it's like, knock, knock, who's there? Right. So number 7, the inconsistency inside of commitment. So Geminis live in the moment, and it can make it impossible to plan for tomorrow. There's no hardcore future building with this person, planting your roots in one place, because life could change. So we have to be able to, get out of here, move out of here, quickly. We have to be able to change this. We have to be able to get on an airplane. We have to be able to get on a boat. We can't just be, completely stuck. However, if you have a lot of Taurus in your chart, that's not going to be the case. So you do want to look at your whole entire chart. But they live in the moment. And so the other person feels like, okay, I can't really count on tomorrow. And they really learn how to live in the present, in the now. And so their promises, again, are genuine. They're full of intention and great meaning. But the follow through might not happen because they could get T-boned with another idea, another option, another opportunity. And come along and do this next thing and bend and flex with me. And people can't really just let go of their dreams as quickly as Gemini. So, one day they'll be speaking to you about forever and let's build the house and let's go buy the materials. And then the next day, they don't even mention that. And they're talking about buying a boat in Cabo. And so the inconsistency, remember, you're working with twins, is it just leaves you feeling like you're building a relationship, in the mud. And you don't know what's lasting, what's real, what's not. What, like, am I your best person, or is your brother your best person? Huh? Am I the best thing in your life, or is that the best thing in your life? Oh, both. Oh, yeah, that thing again. Okay, so I think a lot of other signs have a hard time with their flirtation, and I am telling you, they are so charming and playful, and they cannot contain themselves. And they cross boundaries. They have bad boundaries. So when I say like the flirtation, I kind of also really mean like bad boundaries. Like they don't even know that they have bad boundaries. They go where the person did not invite them to go, oftentimes. But they are so charming that even when they cross the boundaries of what other people consider appropriate, they're oblivious to it because they're playful and they're funny and they're hilarious. And so they get permission to go places that are a little like awko taco or awkward, because they're just so freaking witty. They're hilariously witty. So if you have Gemini in your chart somewhere, this is how you're funny. So sometimes it's obnoxious to be with them, especially when they overtalk, they over ask, they overshare, that they're the first ones to jump in the pool naked. They're the first ones who overdrank, overspent, right? And so, yeah, they can be a lot. So, and if you're an introverted Gemini, you'll just do all of this internally. But for your partner, drawing all this admiration and this like, oh, you're so adorable, witty banters from strangers can give your partner, you know, total anxiety and actually pain, feeling so alone, especially if they are a sign that craves exclusivity, security, and reassurance. Okay, the next thing I would say is their need for freedom. I mean, it can be just downright obnoxious. So they're, you know, I think like Sagittarius and Aries, they are ferociously independent. And independence is it's precious, it's sacred. I mean, they chase freedom. And the more you cling to them, the more they're going to run. And if you try to confine them, or you try to um, control them, or pin them down, remember, they're the social butterfly, they're not the trophy butterfly. And I think it will really bite you in the butt. So when you decided that you wanted to fall in love with a Gemini, you will surely find out that your lesson is to learn the art of surrender and letting go. Yes. Even when your instinct is to hold on tighter or make them a delicious dinner so they don't want to go out, right? Or whatever your seduction method is, letting them go is the way in which you get them back. And I have tons of strategies on that in my How to Make a Gemini Fall Madly in Love with You. Yeah. Anyways, letting them go is literally how they come running back to you. And so what happens to the partner is it's really hard to let go because they feel like your need to go, your need to have space is a rejection of you. And again, they can have a need to go and not be rejecting you at all. But it's very difficult for some signs to understand what that really means. And so their need for space to go tinker and dabble and do their hobby um, is is a sting to others, many other signs. Even when that's even when they know that's just how the Gemini nurtures themselves. That's how they nurture themselves. I would say the last thing is Geminis have a huge dose of FOMO, and they are always looking for the next, the next, the next, the next. And they are literally scared to death of missing out on excitement and opportunity. And I would say this is for sure the truth about the Geminis that I know. And they're even sometimes afraid to like not be with somebody, to not be with a friend or a person. Like they might even want to do like recovery from a cold over at your house. Yeah, they're very mobile like that. Like have backpack, will travel. And this is like they're they always feel like they're missing out, and they're looking for more excitement and more opportunity. And you're thinking, well, hey, isn't this enough excitement for you? What do you need more than this? Like, this is a blast. Like, I can't even imagine how it could be more exciting than all this. Right. And they're like, well, I really wanted to go to the electronic dance party, really wanted to rave tonight, whatever it is. And you're just like, what? Oh my God. So missing out is what runs them. And they can really, again, go out of bounds. They could have bad boundaries. They have so much FOMO. I mean, they could be the person dancing on the tabletop and the tabletop breaks in half and they break their back, right? They could be the one on the roof and oops. So this can really lead to a lack of compromise, or really like under their FOMO leads the relationship. Tell me if you're involved with the Gemini. You guys leave your stories, leave your comments. And please, 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 do you know there's like 60% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed? I don't want you to lose me in the Alice in Wonderland rabbit hole. Would you please become a subscriber and like my video, thumbs up it, write a comment, and share it with somebody who you think might benefit from my work. And by the way, if you want a full personal reading, you can just go to soulnavigation.com and click on book a reading, and you can book a reading with me or somebody from my team, Connie, Joe, or Stacy. They are wonderful. They are so, so, so wonderful. So if you want to understand like your compatibility, consider that. Anyways, I didn't mean to say all of that. I really was talking about something else and I distracted myself, but oh, the FOMO. Yeah. So you can feel like you're with somebody who is physically present with you. Oh, sure. Yeah. I'm enjoying this movie. Yeah. It's really fun. But their mind is always somewhere else. They're on their kayaking trip, or they're planning the Alaska cruise, that they want to go on to, or their New York trip in their head, or they're running their baseball stats. Like they are not really with you. And so you feel like their mind is just always a million miles away because it has frickin' FOMO. Right. So they might be just out there sort of like a Pisces in a way, like the mutable part, like in La La Land, but to them it is something very, very real. And so they're always chasing, the next conversation, the next adventure, the next thing to learn, the next, art of healing, like modality. Like I'm going to do astrology and then human design, and then I'm going to learn the tarot, and then I'm going to do Reiki, and then I'm going to do hypnosis, and then I'm going to do past life regression, and then I'm going to do, and they never land on one. And that is so hard to ride that roller coaster, like, right? But they have FOMO and they feel like they got to know it all before they can really, and that's not really the truth, but that's how they live and that's how they believe. And so they are chasing the next experience, the next stimulation. It's very hard for them to relax their big brains. They have a lot of stimulation. And I think with Gemini, it lends itself towards like endless learning and playfulness. And in Virgo, it lends itself, it's more goal oriented, and it lends itself to self mastery, mastering something. Um, yeah. So I think that persistent FOMO energy is exhausting to the partner. I think the partner feels like totally inadequate, so super boring, like almost worthless, and it makes them really go into self-doubt. So Geminis are not necessarily responsible, of course, for the other person's feelings. But if they knew these things, they could maybe be aware of how doing those things can affect another person. And if you have an evolved Gemini, you have a really remarkable person because they know about all of this and they've done all of this and they stopped doing it. So that's pretty cool if you're an evolved Gemini. And you don't have to capture their attention fully to be interesting. Just capture their attention for a short amount of time because that is fulfilling to them. And loving a Gemini it is a challenge, but I will tell you, it is also a privilege because they have a magnetism that can actually light up the world. And I'll tell you though that their dual nature can also really cast long shadows. And if you choose to love a Gemini, be prepared for a journey that demands flexibility, adaptability, spontaneity, and freedom, and an open mind and heart. And for all the pain, there's also a joy, a love story written in the kaleidoscope of colors. And it will be bright and unforgettable. Your relationship with Geminis, good or bad, they're unforgettable. And I if you're on the road to really falling in love with the Gemini, check and see where their Mercury is, because that Mercury is ruling their sun. And if their Mercury is in Scorpio, then you have a really different kind of Gemini. If their Mercury's in Gemini, then this video is exactly precisely for you. But also if it's your sun, moon, rising, and all those other things. Anyways, I hope you guys are loving this more simple series. It's just kind of fun and playful. And wherever you are in the world, right here from my home in Seattle, Washington, I am wishing you the very, very best. Take good care.